Hi, how you doing? So I am just happy to be riding today because it has been a comedy of errors. My Pivo mic didn't work. I couldn't hook the Pivo to the camera. Then I couldn't get the remote to work. Then I had some things that weren't charged that I thought were. Then my geldings are beating each other up over this beauty. So then I had to figure out how to keep them separate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move her and Windsor, because he is a lovely gentleman, to a lovely paddock of their own with a nice shade tree and an automatic waterer so that they can be away from the idiot geldings, because Howdy has new punches every day from Santi, who they cannot control their testosterone apparently. So, yay, so we've gotten all that done. But, meanwhile, even though she's in raging heat, she still warms up like this, pretty nicely over her feet, relaxed. I love this because it isn't how she started out when I first was riding her, and that could have just been kisses off for a while. But this is really good stuff. I'm going to break this up so that I can actually send them to you. No, I'll upload them, I'll figure it out. So, what I've been working on with her is getting her to understand the circuit of the age. So the circuit of the age goes from the rider's leg to the hindquarters, across the top hind, down over their neck, down to the bit, and back to the rider's hand. So the legs move. So if I walk straight at the camera, you'll see that my legs move right and left as I go. My elbows move with her neck. She's making a bid forward with her neck each step and walk. I'm keeping connection by moving my elbows. So your elbows and the hands belong to the horse. And when they move their neck as just a matter of locomoting, we have to follow it. All right, so now let's see if we can continue that through some transition work. So we're going to do a trot transition, and you saw her bring her neck up and get really tight. And that's okay. It's early days. Then we're going to walk, and then we lost that relaxation. Now we're going to trot again. And it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. Yeah, like this is very tense. I'm going to walk. We're not going to let her lift her front end up. That's not cool. All right, now we're going to trot. Now we're just going to continue working this, and I probably won't have too much to say, and you'll have all sorts of things to watch. Now she's running to the right. She's running through my right leg. Now she's jumping in the air. There we go. There you go. Good girl. There we go. And when she softens over her top line, I make sure that I soften my elbow. Okay, and then I'm going to tuck my hip. After the walk. And now she's running left. And I'm just going to use my left leg and be like, maybe you shouldn't do that. So I don't want to get all up in her grill about this, but she will come around. Good girl. Trot. We're just going to work this. And it might take 15 minutes. It's all right. I've done less enjoyable things for 15 minutes. There you go. And so you see that I'm most of the time looking up, like I'm looking at the trees or looking at the barn or whatever. And when I don't look at the horse, then I can feel the horse better. If we're staring at their head, then we use our vision sense more than our feeling sense. and then your brain is, good girl. Your brain is processing that instead of feeling what's going on. All right, that was better. Okay. Good girl. Good job. Good girl. She softens. You see my elbows move when she chooses to be over her top line. Then when she picks her neck up, maybe just passive resistance in my elbow. So when you ride a horse, the most important joint in a horse, they tell us, is the hock. And that's because the hind end does the pushing and the front end does the catching. Without the pushing, you're not going anywhere. The hock is a big part of that horse, is essential. In a rider, I would argue, I've never heard anybody else say it, but here's my argument, that the elbow is the most important joint because it connects the relatively still body with the moving neck of the horse. So in walk and canter, the horse's neck moves forward and back. In trot, it doesn't move too much, but we're posting, and so the elbow, the body is going up and down, but the horse's neck is not moving. So then the elbow, good girl. So she made that choice, so I'm going to let her stretch a little bit. The elbow there, when the horse is not moving its neck, but the rider is moving her body by posting, the elbow is the joint that makes that connection seamless, that makes the connection consistent. So that was lovely, very lovely choice. Okay, now I'm going to pick her up quietly again. And she decided that when I picked her up, that's a real reason to get a little tense and on the aids, but it's not, or on the muscle really. And that's not really it. No. I don't love that. There you go, good girl. There you go. And then tuck the hips and walk. Good girl. Okay, right. So when she goes forward, that's exactly what we don't want her to do. We don't want her to tuck her hind feet under that much and tighten her back up like that and lift her neck. Sort of the opposite of what we want. This is what we want because she's opened up her top line and she's over her top line quite nicely, and I can influence her without having too much. She can be relaxed in her work. So because of that, I'm going to let her go on a little bit and just enjoy that. And here's something too you can do. Just release the reins and see that they don't, fall. But just give them a break. You're like, hey, look, you're right where I want you to be, so I'm going to make this super nice. Where you choose to raise your neck, I'm going to passively resist. Like that. Here I'm going to just passively resist. I'm going to tell her, hey, we were trotting, here's my leg. Hey, we were trotting, let's trot. There we go. Okay, you can do a little slower, no? So she's just thinking there's like all sorts of things she has to do, and really it's not true. All she has to do is trot and halt. Right, and that halt was crooked, and it had a lot of drama. Right, so pretty much ignore the bad, right? If they do something goofy like that, just be like, okay. And then when they do something good, harmonize with it with your body. That's nice. Yeah, soften your elbow. See how my elbow softens? There, just take your step, and that's fine. You don't want to push your step. You just want to do your step. There you go. So she came over her top line really nicely there, and that's what I like it. Nope. Now you might feel like you've been doing the right for a long time. Staying in this big a circle And with what we're working on, it does not matter. Just to change things. But really, our biggest problem is her hopping in the air and being silly. So that doesn't have anything to do with being sore or whatever, because she's going through too much to the right. But here it is, you're in there. I might even push this out a little bit. It'd be even better if I come right by him. There you go, good girl. Stop and everything. So we're starting to see a pattern. Over here, there's not much to look at. Pretty good. And over there, when she's looking at this brush where the trees could come, or where cougars could come out, and where the traffic is going by, she gets a little up, which usually starts about right here. There we go. Good girl. No. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. Now we're getting a couple steps in a row where she's over the top line. Yeah, and there she actually took some wood. Good girl. There you go. You gotta keep going. Are you swooping? You're swooping, you can swoop back. Good girl. There, now she's even reaching over the top line a little bit. Which is great. We're not really concerned about what her neck is doing. It's what her back is doing. Because she wants to coil her hind end and put her hind feet underneath and really bunch up. And that's a good thing. I mean, you want to have that, right? That's how you take off for the Kentucky Derby, or how you do canter pirouette. But you also need to have this, the other side of it, which is, I'd like to slow down a little bit, which is to work over your top line and your last hand and just soft back. So this is hard for her, and she's not right. Right? And here I can be super soft. I still want to be a little bit connected to my mouth, right? I'm not going to drop her yet. Well, I'm not going to drop her ever, but I'm not going to go on completely free rein yet, because it would take too much to gather the reins back up. Because she does come up and get tight. But this is really good. It's a big change from 10 minutes ago when she was feeling like she was going to rear. But none of us really left. Okay, let's go ahead and draw this for a little while. Gotta stay with it. There you go. So it may absolutely notice when you're like, wait a second. You're not pulling on my face at all. You're not bossing around. And I get to just be beautiful and trot around. This is perfect. I love it. When I pet horses, which I don't do that often because sometimes it can really screw up your connection. But if I do, I bridge the reins. Not one. Bridge the reins and pet the horse so that the contact stays relatively the same. But you see that it changed when I did that. So oftentimes I'll just use my voice. Good girl. Alright, I'm going to walk a little bit. And we like that transition quite a lot. Because she didn't let her back end pass her front end. She just came down with her neck down. So this is great. Good. Good. Real happy with that. Alright, we're going to give her a little second to just chill out. Remind yourself what good horse she is. Smoothly change direction. Now if you're going a little fast, you should be a little crooked. So I'm going to say, hey, why don't you straighten up? And then the other thing I'm going to do is check my girth, because it's been about 10 minutes now. Alright, so we're going to stop. Good girl. Not bad at all. And horses should tolerate you tightening the girth while you're sitting on them. And if they don't stand politely, you should keep them. And then she walks off when I ask her, and not before. And then when she goes, she's a good girl. Alright, so we're going to do a little trot work in the other direction, see if we can wrap replicate what we had. And if not, we'll work it through. But if so, I'm going to be very quick. If so, then we'll go on to canter. And I don't always work the trot first. You don't really have to. You can go straight from canter to from walk after you've had a reasonable walk warm up. Or, to be honest, if they've been in a pasture all day, you can get on, walk 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and canter. So we don't love this trot because it's really short and tight. But we don't hate it because it's better than how we started in the other direction. So I'm going to just work it out. I am rolling my post. I am using the outside half vault. There we go. And she's still quite tight. I'm short my range. Okay, a short range is a kind range. A long range is a harsh range. Because when I'm up here, it's so easy to give. Very easy. Right? Whereas if you ride on a long range, you give, it's like, oh my god, it's sloppy. Horse falls apart usually. By the way, this is Delilah. So this is pretty good. Right? She started out trot in this direction better than she started in the other one. She's not as good as she ended up in the other direction, and by that I mean she's not stretching over her top line. But she is with me, she's with me. But she's tight over her top line. She's a little bit posing right now. She's not really letting go in her neck. We'd like her to open her throat less and swing a little more through her body. My stirrup just touched the fence. Made a funny sound, so she did not make it. There you go. There we go. So now we're thinking about really using our body instead of being tight and running. Really good. Good girl. There we go. Good girl. Alright, so it's really good. You stay together there, which is good. But you see what I mean about when you use your hand to pet them? It messes up the connection and the feng shui of what you're doing. Yep. Yep. Now we're going to do a canter part and walk. When we do, I guarantee she's going to drop her back and raise her head. And that's just where she is right now. But as we continue to do more of this work over her top line, she's going to get stronger, and then she'll be able to stay round to the transition. But for now, I'm only going to ask for it, for roundness. I'm not going to insist on it, and I'm also not going to punish her if she isn't round. Okay, so now for the walk to trot transition. I'm going to stretch up. I'm going to step out for one step like that, and then I'm going to use my legs. There we go. She almost stayed round. That was really good. Really good girl. Okay, now we're going to do a canter part. We're going to talk about the canter part later, so that's what I'll need. We don't worry about that. We just repeat. So this canter, probably looks impressive, but it's super tight. Right? Her back is down and her neck is up. But it's so easy for her to sit in her hind end that she can do this little merry-go-round canter. But she also needs to have the over-the-top line canter where she's relaxed. And that's going to take a lot of transition. But for now, we're just going to do some cantering. There we go. So there she's thinking, oh, I could stretch down a little bit in my top line and not raise, and stay down and relax. Good. So I'm using more outside range than inside range to get her softened. My legs, really tempting for a horse who's doing this to take your legs off because it feels like they're running away from you. But you have to keep your leg on so that they get the idea of lifting through their belly rather than running with their neck up. There we go. You can move so I can move. And make that look like. Okay, now we're going to do a trot transition. And this might be ugly, but that's okay. We're going to stretch up. Slide the outside feet on forward. There we go. Good girl. Good girl. I'm sorry I'm riding now. I can't talk. So she's very tense right now. So we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep pulsing. We're going to say, hey, maybe you should turn and soften your back. Maybe you should turn. Okay, so she might get a switch there. So then I soften and then she runs and it's okay. I might have softened a little too much. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. So we got her back and now we're going to let her go. I'm going to breathe one of these moments. Good girl. I can change my weight and you can deal with it. So that's what she does in she turns, right? She lifts her neck, drops her back. And then she settles. And there she is. Alright, now we're going to do a canter depart. Good girl. That was really good. So her neck came up, but she stayed good behind, right?